Comedy.
From the city of brotherly love at the class of 1923 arena, this is ACHA Hockey on the Syracuse Hockey Radio Network. Tonight, your Syracuse Orange are on the road, taking on the Drexel Dragons in a game that has a lot more writing on it than just a win and a loss. Of course, both of these teams, members of the ESCHL, playoff standings could shuffle after today, depending on the results of both this game and the one tomorrow. A lot of conference points on the line for the 4th and 5th ranked teams in this conference. Taking a look at the ESCHL standings as they are right now. Again, they will change based on not only the results of this game and tomorrow, but also what the rest of the league looks like. But as we sit right now, Drexel in 4th place with 27 points, Syracuse right behind them with 25. The top 4 advance into that playoff scenario. So this is a big one in terms of who can come away getting some points out of this weekend, and then of course going back home to finish an ESCHL heavy schedule for the Orange, both when you look at Stony Brook and Rhode Island, and then Oswego as well before those games, before that regular season is done. And for the Drexel Dragons, they don't have too many left in the ESCHL. It's their final 2 at Delaware and at Stony Brook. So this is a big chance for the Dragons to get some conference points against the team that sits right behind them and threatens to knock them out of a playoff spot. Syracuse, the visiting team, skating into this game with a record of 11, 12, and 2 in the ACHA, 25 points over the season. They will wear their blue uniforms, the blue sweaters, blue buckets, blue pants with orange letters and numbers. The orange numbers in big font on the back, and the SYR, the black letters going diagonal from the right chest down to the left hip. That is what Syracuse will skate in today, along with the blue socks with a red an orange and white stripe along the side. For the Drexel Dragons, coming into this game 13, 5, and 1, and 27 points overall in this 2024-25 season. They will wear their 3rd jerseys, the golds, as they call them, the Vegas gold jerseys, with the blue pants and the blue helmets, blue shoulders as well, along with blue letters and numbers for the Dragons, and a big dragon logo on the front of the chest as well. We are just moments away from puck drop from the class of 1923 arena here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We'll be back with the opening puck drop in just a few moments on the SU Hockey Network.
Comedy. Comedy. Comedy.
class of 1923 arena in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is men's college hockey on the SU Hockey Network. Tonight, your Syracuse Orange take on the Drexel Dragons. Very important conference points on the line this weekend between the number 4 and number 5 teams in this ESCHL ranking. And as the playoffs get nearer, these become all the more valuable. Caleb Spinner high above the ice here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, class of 1923 arena, one of the more historic arenas in all of college hockey. I was going to say the ECHL, but also all of college hockey here. Excited to be above the ice in this beautiful building for an admittedly a very late puck drop here at about 10:36 Eastern time as we get ready to start this one between the Orange and the Dragons. Syracuse on the road wearing their blue uniforms, the blue sweaters, the blue pants, the orange letters and numbers, blue helmets, blue socks with the orange and white tri-stripe across the side. Countering is Drexel in their Vegas gold uniforms, as they call them. The gold sweaters with blue shoulders, blue pants, yellow socks, and blue tri-stripe on the socks and the jerseys. We are about ready to go underway. Syracuse defending the goal to your left. And we have the opening face-off won by the Drexel Dragons, knocked back into their own zone, as this will be taken up out of the Dragon zone, and they will go on the attack first, up to the neutral zone. Here comes, with a full head of steam, Jimmy Jacobs. He works it all the way down to the far side corner before the Orange take over. Taking a look at the starters for both teams. First for Syracuse, the forwards, Brock Alvers, Jack Alicia, and Connor Chesner, the defenseman. The defenseman, Connor Chesner, and Jake Brown. The other forward there being Sam Hutchinson, playing his 100th game of his college career today. And on the other side for the Drexel Dragons, Ryan Sambuco, William Nicholas, Jimmy Jacobs, Benjamin Birkin, and Matt Harris. Your goaltender matchup for today, wearing the number 31 jersey instead of his usual number 35, it's Ryan Nocerino in net for the Drexel Dragons. And on the other side, his counterpart, John Angelino, for the Orange. Just about 30 seconds gone in this opening period. No score between the Orange and the Dragons. It was a quick opportunity for Drexel one way, and then Syracuse took over, fired in a shot that got covered up by Nocerino, and now we'll get a face-off on the right wing side of Syracuse's attacking end. Number 27, Anthony Larkin, wins the face-off for Syracuse. The Orange have it in their attacking end, 3-on-4, as Syracuse had back checkers ready for the Drexel rush. They learned to value that early in this period already, as Drexel put down a valuable opportunity right off the opening face-off just moments ago. Puck still down in Syracuse ice, now pushed out through the neutral zone down to the Orange defensive end, where it'll be picked up by Jacob Von Tersch. He lost it behind the goal line. Poking it free for just a moment was Evan Mudrick, trying to find an outlet. He had his pocket picked as well. Max Gargurovich handling, and now moves it up out of the zone to Anthony Larkin. Larkin then sends it over to Alicia, who turns in a shot, and then heads over to the bench for a change. Check that, it's Pendergrass who will make the substitution after firing one towards Nocerino. Into the slot, flicking one towards the goaltender was Jack Wren. Rebound picked up by Sean Cato. Cato playing it into the slot, where it's picked up by Evan Vasilevsky, and now moved down further towards the corner, where Wren gets it one more time. And this puck has touched every stick of the Syracuse defense out on the ice right now. A shot turned in. Nocerino. Puck bounces in. Net comes loose, and we'll get a stoppage with 18:05 to go in a scoreless first period from the class of 1923 arena. We've said his name plenty of times, Ryan Nocerino, the goaltender for Drexel. Number 31. He's usually number 35, but wearing a substitute jersey today, playing his 14th game of the season. A .369 goals against average, .914 save percentage. He played last Saturday's game at Robert Morris. He stopped 29 of 30 Colonial shots on the way to a dominant 6-1 victory for the Dragons that closed out their weekend series on the road. He is certainly a very capable netminder. The Orange are going to have to put all of their brains together to find a way to beat him in the net tonight. 18 minutes to go in the first period. No score between the Orange and Dragons here from Philadelphia. Picking up the puck in the corner for Drexel is Anthony Tuozo. He had his pocket picked by Cam Gaffney. Gaffney chases it into the far corner before he gets leveled to the ice, and the Dragons look to break out. It's 2-on-2. Syracuse back defensively, back checking with Sean Cato, and needed enough to get the puck back on his stick. Moves it out towards the red line where it's taken back over by Drexel. Handling now is Pietro Baccarin. Baccarin moves over to his right side where a shot is turned in and blockered away by the Syracuse netminder John Angelino. Firing that one in was Michael Urbani for the Dragons. Drexel still with the puck. They'll chase it over to the left wing side. Picked up in the slot by Nathan Steele. Steele works it back around behind the goal and now out to the point where it's handled by Brady Doyle. Doyle turns one in towards Angelino. Makes another big save for the Orange. Back out to the point again where Doyle tests his luck one more time. The rebound picked up by the Orange and now sent the full length of the ice. It's not going to make the red line. Nasarino comes out of his net to play it, still empty as he fights in the corner. Now moved out to the slot, fanning on the shot was Jack Alicia, and it's a rush the other way for the Dragons. Coming up with a full head of steam, Jimmy Jacobs working it in towards Angelino. He put it wide of the net. 16:40 to go in the first period. No score between the Orange and the Dragons, but both teams have had their fair share of grade A chances through the first few minutes of this period. Right on the doorstep, and there's a score for the Dragons. All of a sudden into the corner, moved back out to the slot, tic-tac-toe. Drexel is on the board first. Ryan Sambuco will pick up that goal. It's his 8th of the season. He has 8 multi-point games this season, including one last Saturday at Robert Morris, 2 assists over that series. Both of them came in that final game of the series. That's impressive. Ryan Sambuco gets Drexel Dragons out in front early. Faced off won by the Orange after that goal from Sambuco. Turned in immediately towards Nasarino, who just covers up. Not a lot of power on that shot, so he's able to just make a routine glove save and then freeze the puck with 16:17 to go in the first period. Face off from the left wing side of the Syracuse attacking zone. Jacob Von Tersch moves it around the end boards. Picked up behind the goal by Jack Alicia. Alicia looking for a centering feed. He fires one in towards Nasarino by himself. It's now picked up. The rebound is by Sam Hutchinson, who moves it out to the point. Ryan Thomas turns one in, he scores! Ryan Thomas says, right back at you, Dragons. And we're knotted up at Snake Eyes. Another quick goal to answer. Right out to the corner. Hutchinson feeds it out to the point, and Ryan Thomas does what he does best, a snipe with his heels on the blue line to beat the glove of Nasarino and get the Orange back tied at 1 in this game. Picked up, Gargurovich working down the slot, turns one backhand, rebound still loose, picked up on the far side, sent in yet again. 2 great opportunities for the Orange, both knocked away by Nasarino. And now the puck loose in the near corner. Syracuse trying to kick this out to the point, they do. Thomas turns one in, and we're gonna get a delayed penalty here for a cross check. It looks like it's gonna go against Drexel. Chalk this one up to number 19, Anthony Tuozo. So Syracuse on the power play moments after scoring the game-tying goal here with 15:37 to go in the first period, and our score 1-1. The Orange trying to make good use of this power play, skating 5-on-4 for the next 2 minutes. A shot turned in from Ryan Thomas from the right slot, knocked away by Nasarino. A lot of traffic in front. That puck barely got to Nasarino in order to challenge. Vasilevsky now drops it back on the left wing side. Back down below the goal line, out to Carter Rugg again. And now the puck stolen by Drexel and cleared down to the other side of the ice. Syracuse will regroup with 1.5 minutes to go on the penalty clock and 15 minutes to go in the first period. A quick, long breakout pass to Cade Cook down to the other side of the ice. Drops it back to Vasilevsky, who turns one in, goes wide of Nasarino. Syracuse on the power play this season, 23.5%. That's 5th in the ESCHL. They would love to improve that number with a goal here on this power play, especially one in a crucial ESCHL game. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Drexel Dragons killing penalties at a rate of 75%. That's tied for 4th in the division. So two teams who are both lower in the standings in their respective regards on the special teams, both with an opportunity to improve where they sit in that regard. With a chance today, scoreless, a rather tied game, 1-1, 14-15 to go in the first period. Syracuse still on the power play. They've got 35 more seconds with the extra skater. Puck freed up between the circles, moved out towards the left side now. Delayed call coming. Shipping is starting on the far side of the ice as the Orange try to free this up. Drexel skating, knowing that they have a delayed penalty here coming. The Orange, with 15 seconds to go in their power play, we're going to skate 4-on-4 for it. We'll see who gets rung up for this Syracuse violation. With 15 seconds to go, you were about to go back to full strength anyways, but the last thing you want if you're the Orange is to give up a power play here. So we'll get 4-on-4 for 15 seconds, and then it's the Drexel Dragons on the attack with the man advantage for just under 2 minutes after that. We're going to give this Syracuse penalty to number 7, Brendan Duffy. So Syracuse, 5 more seconds to go, skating 4-on-4, and then the Dragons will take over on the power play. Penalty expires against Anthony Tuozo. He's back on the ice for the Dragons as they work in towards the power play. Trying to make good use of this one to take back their lead. Save made by Spano, or rather Angelino. And there's a goal from the Dragons, Pietro Bikarin. Angelino made a big save with his blocker. The rebound came out right where it needed to, onto the stick of Bikarin, and he puts it home into a wide open net to give Drexel a 2-1 lead. Not even halfway through the opening period here at the Class of 1923 Arena, and already we've seen 3 goals. Perhaps an indicator of how this weekend series is going to go. Drexel ahead of Syracuse 2-1 through the early going. 13-16 to go in the opening period. The Dragons 2, the Orange 1 on the SU Hockey Radio Network. Face-off coming in the Drexel defensive end. Skating into the circle to take this face-off for Syracuse is Anthony Larkin. Larkin needs 1 more goal to set a new single-season career high in goals. It would be his 7th of the year. He has 6 now, and he had 6 as a freshman. He's going to be looking to score all game long. He fires one in there against Nosarina, loses his stick as Drexel takes over. Full head of steam as Ryan Sambuco enters the zone, takes it into the left corner, moves it out a little bit higher towards the blue line, into the slot, where it's now chased back into that corner by Adam Lazine. Crossing in front of the crease and turning one in. That was saved away was Lazine, who got the feed back, but the officials will wave it off as the net came undone as Angelino was trying to slide over and make that save, which he ended up doing. Face-off coming in the Syracuse end on the left circle. 12:44 to go in the opening period. Syracuse trailing Drexel by a score of 2-1. Sean Cato uses the near wall to move that puck into the neutral zone, through the neutral zone, and towards Drexel's end, where the Dragons will take over. Syracuse makes a line change, gets fresh legs out onto the ice for them. Carter Rugg chases down defensively into his own end, where he'll move it over onto the stick of Jack Wren. Wren pressured by 2 gold sweaters in the far side of the ice. Drexel takes over, fires in a shot from distance. Michael Urbani robbed by John Angelino. Spoke a minute about Ryan Nosarino on the other end for Drexel between the pipes. Let's take a look at John Angelino playing his 5th game of the year for Syracuse. .375 goals against average, an .882 save percentage. He played in 3 games for Syracuse last season. He had an amateur tryout earlier this season with the Syracuse Crunch alongside fellow Syracuse goaltender AJ Finta. Puck loose in the neutral zone in front of the Syracuse bench on the far side of the ice. Puck still loose between the blue lines, where it's now finally picked up by the Orange and Connor Chesner. Less than 12 minutes to play in the first period. Syracuse trailing 2-1 against Drexel here in Pennsylvania. And we're going to get a call against Drexel, it looks like. They'll head to the box for the second time today. See who this is called against, but Syracuse will go on the man advantage. They had one opportunity already, and with 15 seconds left in that chance, they committed a penalty of their own to move it back onto the power play, and that's how Drexel took this lead. Penalty will be assessed to Pietro Bakarin, who will sit 2 minutes as the Orange take back over on the man advantage. Thomas drops it low. Now gets it back from Gaffney, drops it low again to Gaffney. Hot potato between Syracuse's 8 and 19. Thomas posted up forward on the right point. He gets the feed back and then moves it over to his left side. Carter Rugg fires one in. It goes off behind the goal and Nasarino. Centering feed couldn't get through. Cook was fighting for it, but he had his stick caught up into the blades of two Drexel defenders who closed in on him. Half a minute gone in this power play for the Orange. Carter Rugg slicing through defenders as he works his way to the red line out of his own zone. Now drops it back to Ryan Thomas. Thomas takes it into the right slot and then drops it back yet again, this time finding Gaffney. Gaffney sends it over to Rugg, who was showing like he was going to pop a one-timer from the left wing. Now into the slot, Gaffney turns one in off the glass. Rebound into the corner. Gaffney chases and grabs it. Thomas gets the feed from Gaffney, moves it over to Rugg. Rugg fires one in. Rebound loose in the slot off the save from Nasarino. Drexel trying to clear the zone. Syracuse sticked it down for a moment. Rugg had it, made a great play, and then Vasilevsky took it out of the zone anyway, saying it was all for naught. Rugg gets another feed back to him, fires in a shot, and Nasarino makes the save with 10:30 to go in the first period and 38 seconds to go on the Syracuse power play. 2-1 score, the Dragons over the Orange here on the SU Hockey Radio Network. Syracuse on their second power play of the night came up empty on their first one, trying to better that with this chance here. Loose puck in the left corner. Syracuse on the attack, but only for a moment as the Dragons take it back and now looking for an opportunity shorthanded. Jimmy Jacobs wraps the puck around the end boards. Syracuse leveling a huge hit on the far side of the ice. That was Sam Hutchinson laying the metal. Feed over to Alicia in the slot. Fired one in towards Nasarino, who was able to make the first save and then cover. A great looking opportunity for the Orange. Just better goaltending from Nasarino. He will freeze the puck with 10 minutes to go in the first period and 7 seconds left on the Syracuse power play. Time for a face-off win and one more shot before we go back to 5-on-5. Carter Rugg works it off the face-off, takes that shot, and skies it into the netting. He looked like he wanted to take that all himself. Was in perfect time to get that puck back from the face-off and then rip it, but he put it a little bit high out of play. So now 3 seconds on the penalty clock. Syracuse wins the face-off. They tried to send it out to Rugg again, same spot, but he's not ready for it. The Dragons jump on it, looking for a feed. Jimmy Jacobs right in front of Angelino. He fans on the shot. The defense too much for the Orange, and now a 2-on-2 for Syracuse. Gargurovich pulls up after he crosses the blue line. Fires one in towards Nasarino. Picked up for just a moment by Anthony Larkin before the Dragons jump back on it. Drexel trying to clear their zone. They do, but only for a moment as Carter Rugg sends it right back into the zone from the neutral zone. Icing called as Drexel put a little bit too much on it, thinking they were still on the penalty kill. They were not. And we will get a face-off coming on Dragons ice with 9:16 to go in the first period and the score 2-1 in favor of the home team, Drexel. Said Carter Rugg's name a lot today. Certainly one of those players who might not light up a box score, but he is an impact player for these Orange. Brock Alvers with the puck in the left corner. Moves it down low below the goal line to Jack Alicia, who then has no other choice but to move it out to the point and Jacob Von Tersch. Von Tersch finds Alvers. Alvers' feed was stolen away. This is Jimmy Jacobs across the blue line into Syracuse ice. He moves the puck over to his right. He did not have a teammate waiting. He thought he did. But Syracuse will capitalize on the turnover. Alicia to Hutchinson. Hutchinson below the dot. Barrett Genovese now with it for Drexel off the turnover for the Dragons. Drexel mishandling in the neutral zone. Syracuse back with the puck. Von Tersch moves it into the zone. Drexel right there to knock him out. 8:16 to go in the first period, 2-1, Drexel over Syracuse. Ryan Thomas taking his time behind the net. Looking for an outlet, he fires a long stretch pass down the ice to Cade Cook. Cook is gonna beat the icing. He's the only orange down in the zone right now, as he had 3 Drexel Dragons jerseys around him, trying to pressure him into that corner. Sends it back down to his other side of the ice. They'll say, actually, that came off the stick of a Dragons player, and so it'll be icing the full length of the sheet. One of the observations of this very old class of 1923 arena here in Philadelphia, it is one of the only ones I've seen that is so old school that they have the benches on the other sides of the ice. Syracuse on the far side, Drexel on the near side, but you get the backup goaltenders who are all near each other on this side closest in front of our broadcast booth here, so you get a little bit of chatting going on between the 4 reserves, 2 for Syracuse, 2 for Drexel. It's something unique about this arena that you can't miss once you're looking at the beautiful ice in front of us here on the campus of UPenn. Out to the point, turning one in was Chesner. Gets his rebound back after the traffic in front sends it back out to him. We've got a loose stick blade on the ice. Not sure who that belongs to, but the Dragons will clear their zone and make a change. It looks like it belongs to one of them, as a stick came right out of their bench with haste. Dragons on a rush then. Had it taken away by Syracuse. And now trying to answer with a goal of his own is Emery. Emery turns one in from a low-angle opportunity on the red line. Rebound goes back out to Carter Rugg, who fires one in again towards Nocerino. Takes a hit into the glass, rather. His shot saved by Nocerino, who will cover with 6:49 to play in the first period. And the score 2-1. Drexel ahead of Syracuse. Face-off, left wing circle in the Syracuse attacking end. Puck still loose in the dot. Finally the Orange come away with it. Wren turns one in, goes wide of the net. Rebound picked up in the near corner by Vasilevsky. He's pinned against the boards, both teams fighting for it. Duffy in there too for the Orange. Pride of Dragons for Drexel trying to free this puck out, and they eventually do. This is Ryan Sambuco who had the last word for it, moving it out to the neutral zone, and now one step further into Syracuse ice after the feed to Sean Carver. Drexel on the defensive as Syracuse takes it over again. Brendan Duffy with a full head of steam down the left side, moves in from the point to the slot, where he'll leave it for Jack Wren. Wren feeds it into a cutting Brendan Duffy, who fired one in and was robbed by Nocerino. Up the near half wall, Drexel will clear. Carter Rugg chasing with Jimmy Jacobs right behind him for Drexel. 5:48 to go in the first period. Syracuse trailing Drexel 2-1. Once again, back down to Syracuse attacking end. Drexel takes over, and they'll clear it. Ryan Thomas back with the puck, sends a long shot down towards Gargurovich, trying to get it on his stick, put a little bit too much on it, and it will go right into the crease of Ryan Nocerino, who covers up with 5.5 minutes to play in the first period. Face-off won by Syracuse. Right off of it comes a shot from number 29, Eli Pendergrass. It was wide of the goal. Loose puck still on the sticks of the Orange. Larkin trying to feed it out of the left corner. Instead, the Dragons right there on defense. They take it over, loose in the corner, a great centering feed towards Larkin as he was fighting for that with everything he had. Was right on the doorstep of the crease, but couldn't knock it onto his stick long enough to get the shot off. Into Syracuse ice. Here come the Dragons. Barrett Genovese. And that puck stolen off of his blade. The Orange back on the attack. A long pass to Gargurovich. Too much on it. Puck goes back out to no man's land. Here's Genovese for Drexel. Sends it off to the right of Angelino. The orange right there, Gargurovich takes the feed, trying to clear it out of the zone. He eventually does after moving it onto the stick of Connor Chesner. Chesner moves it down the ice towards Hutchinson. Hutchinson in the zone, turns in a shot. Drexel clears it out of the zone. Chesner gets it back and tries to move it to Hutchinson again, but he had to wait for Hutchinson to get out of the zone to avoid the offsides. 4:10 to play in the opening period from the class of 1923 arena in Philadelphia. Anthony Tuozo feeds it to his right into the corner. Now moved back out to the point. Drexel fighting for it, outnumbered. 1 gold jersey on 3 blue ones for the Orange. They try to re-enter and add on to their 1 goal lead, 2-1. Here in the first period. Syracuse trying to clear their zone. Into the left corner, now moved out into the slot where it's stolen by the Orange. Sam Hutchinson handling, backhand feed to Brock Albers. Albers puts on the brakes to try to free himself up from the Drexel defense. It works, but only for a second, as the Dragons are back down, threatening in the slot. Pietro Baccarin chases to the left wing corner. Uses the end boards to move it out to Matt Harris. Harris back out to Baccarin, who tried to beat Angelino on the slide. He did not. Angelino keeps his net empty with 3:12 to go in the first period. Syracuse trailing by 1, 2-1. Matt Harris, one of the biggest players for Drexel on the attacking side of things. Ended a 3-game points drought last weekend with 2 goals and an assist at Robert Morris in that 6-1 finale win of the series. Cade Cook down the ice for the Orange. Leaves one on the doorstep for Cam Gaffney, who's unable to poke it around the skate of Nasserino in the net. Gaffney with his rebound. Moves out to the point. Sean Cato back down to Gaffney. A little bit too long. Cook has to take it behind the red line. Cook sends it out to Cato, who was calling for it. He'll mishandle at the blue line and have to take this all the way back into neutral ice, where he'll find his freshman teammate, Aiden Emery. Emery over to his right side into the slot for Gaffney. Gaffney cross ice to Cook, who is in the slot but on the other side. Cook wraps it around behind Nasserino. A rebound loose on the crease for the Orange, but the Drexel Dragons will clear it. Now down the ice with nobody in front of him. Here comes Ryan Sambuco. A low angle shot. Routine glove save by John Angelino. He snags that one out of the air after watching it the entire time. He'll make a big save with 2:14 to go in the first period, and the score 2-1 in favor of the Dragons. Syracuse's lone goal scorer, Ryan Thomas. For the Drexel Dragons, they've had 2, the most recent off a power play from Pietro Baccarin. The Orange out of their zone, working it up through neutral ice. Here's Vasilevsky in the slot. Vasilevsky turns one in towards Nasserino. He goes off the chest of the Drexel netminder. Rebound goes out to Jacob Von Tersch, who fires one in from distance at the left point. Nasserino once again able to make the save. Ryan Nasserino has played 26 games this season. This is 27th. He 26 last season. He's played just 13 as of this year. A little bit of a drop in production, but it's mainly because he has 2 other great options in reserve behind him, who both are deserving of playing time. Evan Vasilevsky takes it himself down the right side, below the goal line. Tries to get a centering feed out to Brendan Duffy. He does. Duffy, no other choice as he's surrounded by defenders to move it out to Ryan Thomas. Thomas puts it low towards Von Tersch. Von Tersch then centered it out in front. The rebound off a save from Nasserino moved back out to Tersch at the left point. He sends it over cross ice feed towards Thomas. Thomas turns one in. Nasserino makes the save. Von Tersch over to the far side for a one-timer. Ripping that one and going just wide was Evan Vasilevsky. In a prime position to put home an Alex Ovechkin-style 1T from the circle. Nasserino, again, a big save. Final minute of the opening period here from the class of 1923 arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Syracuse trailing Drexel 2-1 in the first game of a two-game series this weekend. Game tomorrow, 2:45. Tonight we had a puck drop at 10:40, which both teams were not really prepared for, as it was scheduled late in the week. Shot turned in right off the zone entry from Pietro Baccarin. He was robbed by the mitt of John Angelino. 40 seconds left in this opening frame. Pietro Baccarin moments ago robbed Syracuse of their tie game. Moved back out in front of a power play feed from Pietro Baccarin, one of the more dynamic scorers on this Drexel team. Drexel fires in another one off an opening faceoff, right towards Angelino, who likewise makes the save. Faceoff coming in the Syracuse end from the right circle. Cleared out towards the blue line, but not quite over it. Syracuse defense trying to find an opening to move this away from the blue line. Angelino makes another big save off a quick shot from the Drexel Dragons. Still, only a few seconds go off the clock. We've still got 25 to go before the end of the first period. This is the longest half minute I've ever experienced. Gargurovich enters the Drexel zone. One man in front of him as he turns one in towards Nazarino. The rebound still loose. Nazarino watches it. Gargurovich goes chasing, but he's beaten by the Drexel captain, Matt Harris. Harris handles in his own zone, moves it back towards his teammate, Benjamin Burkhand, who then skies it into the neutral zone. Jimmy Jacobs feeds it ahead of him to Ryan Sambuco, who turns in a shot as the period expires. And that is how we will end the opening frame. Syracuse trailing 2-1. And hold on. Sambuco went down, fired a shot in towards Angelino right as the horn went off. Jake Brown took offense to when that shot came late in the period with maybe a second on the clock, if not triple zeros. So he gives Sambuco a healthy shove into the glass behind the net. And then, as you can imagine, between two ESCHL teams who are both fighting each other for a spot in the playoff, calamity ensues. Both teams start shoving. We will head to the locker rooms with nothing going officially on the penalty clocks, but certainly tensions rising after 20 minutes of action. One down, two to go from the class of 1923 arena here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Syracuse trailing Drexel 2-1. We'll have the second period coming up in just a few moments on the SU Hockey Network. Syracuse trails Drexel 2-1 after one period here at the class of 1923 arena in Philadelphia. Second period just about underway on the SU Hockey Radio Network. Caleb Spinner above the ice in Philadelphia, bringing you the action. Late is an understatement here on the East Coast. It's almost 11:30. We started this game at 10:40, a change from the original time that we were supposed to play this. Around 7 o'clock is when it was scheduled for, but some late week changes have put us to where we are now in an almost midnight showdown between the Dragons and the Orange. Talked to you at the end of the first period, mentioned there were a little bit of extracurriculars going on in the Syracuse end of the ice between both teams, getting chippy after a late period shot attempt from Drexel. It has resulted in penalties, offsetting minors between Syracuse's Connor Chesner and Drexel's Jimmy Jacobs. So they will both sit. It will cancel out. We will still skate 5-on-5 to begin the second period. Syracuse defending the goal on the right and Drexel vice versa. The Orange taking the ice. Ryan Thomas out there for Syracuse. He's the lone goal scorer for the Orange through the early going. He initially tied up the game after Drexel got the opening goal off the stick of Anthony Tuozo. And then Matt Harris, or rather Pietro Baccarin, would get Drexel the lead on the power play a few moments after Thomas's goal that tied us at Snake Eyes. So that is where we find ourselves after 20 minutes here in Philadelphia. Period number 2, just about ready to begin. A face-off coming between Drexel's Matt Harris and Syracuse's Jack Alicia. Sticks are clacking on the bench, about ready to clack them in the center circle. Still officials talking, taking their sweet time to start this period. And you're starting to hear from a few fans in attendance. A little bit of wondering what's going on, why we haven't started yet. And now everybody to their places, or rather headed over to the benches now. The officials talking to Syracuse head coach Chris Timmons and his coaching staff. An official and a linesman both over there. The linesman in the center still waiting to drop the puck. And the other official just out in no man's land all the way over in the Syracuse defensive end. Just having a grand old time standing by himself. He's even got his arms crossed in front of him, patiently waiting for us to begin this game. One of the officials on the far side of the ice towards the Syracuse bench comes over, joins him for some company, telling him what's going on, what he was telling Coach Timmons. And now we are ready to dance. Officials in place, Harris and Alicia ready to tie up. We get ready to open period number 2. Drexel ahead of Syracuse by a score of 2-1. We'll see what this second period has in store for us from Philly. Face-off won by Syracuse, pushed back to Jake Von Tersch. Von Tersch ahead to Alvers. Alvers dangling through the slot, turns one in towards Nocerino, and a miraculous save from Ryan Nocerino in net to rob Brock Alvers of a fancy goal on the doorstep of the crease. Alvers got a stretch feed from Von Tersch and walked in basically untouched between the circles before putting one in on Nocerino, and Nocerino just able to get his mitt on it to keep it out of the net. A great chance for the Orange, not even 10 seconds into the second period. Drexel breaking up a Syracuse feed in the neutral zone. They look to go on the attack, but the Orange right there defensively to pick it up, and now they'll retreat into their own end. Ryan Thomas, a stretch pass up the ice, had Alicia wide open in Drexel territory. Instead, he put it just long off the stick of Alicia. Alicia there to get the rebound, though, for Syracuse after Nocerino came out of his net to play it. Jack Alicia has been in and out all season with an injury. He leads Syracuse still, even with his time off, in goals with 14 this season. He's tied for the most of his career in a single season. And there's a score from Carter Rugg. Alicia, 2 passes later, gets it onto the stick of Carter Rugg, and the Orange tie us up once again. This time it's 2-2. The Orange sharing the sugar. Sean Caddo picking up an assist on that goal from Carter Rugg. It's his 5th of the year, and this is his 26th appearance. He had an assist last Friday at Delaware. 2 points over his last 4 games, now 3 in his last 5. Syracuse ties us up at 2-2 with 18:50 to play in the second period from Philadelphia. Important ESCHL points on the line today between Syracuse and Drexel, and right in the slot, the Drexel Dragons take back over. Benjamin Burkhead scoring. Every time Syracuse gets momentum, the Dragons are right there to take it back. Didn't even look like a shot was coming, and that's probably what got Angelino off base to not make that save. Just right on. The second the puck touched the stick of Burkhead, he was flicking it home from an awkward positioning, had bodies in front of him, but somehow able to beat Angelino and get the Dragons the lead once again. 18:15 to play in the second period. Drexel leading Syracuse by 1 here in their home ice in Philadelphia. Ryan Thomas picks it up in the neutral zone, moves it over on the right side, just ahead to Max Gargurovich, who then puts it into Dragons ice, and he'll get an icing as the puck will come out towards, rather it'll stay in Dragons ice. Yes, it looks like they were going to move it out towards the neutral zone for a moment, and then the Syracuse bench kind of put their hands up to say, what are we doing? And we'll move it back to the right spot. 18 minutes even to go in the second period. Syracuse trailing Drexel 3-2 here at the class of 1923 arena. Drexel wins the faceoff and moves it onto the stick of number 27, William Mikolas. Mikolas tried to clear the zone. Instead, it was taken away by Aiden Emery for the Orange. Emery fighting for it to keep the attack alive for Syracuse, and he does. Puck moves over towards Cam Gaffney, who fires it below the goal line. Gaffney picking up the rebound after Nasarino comes out of his net, plays it back where a trapezoid would be if we were in an NHL arena. And now it goes all the way out to Carter Rugg. Rugg, who had the last goal for Syracuse, moves it over to his right. Sean Caddo, who had an assist on said goal. Caddo moves it into the corner after Nasarino knocks away his first shot. And now Drexel will clear the puck down where Rugg goes chasing for the Orange. Rugg, still in no man's land, now has to pick up the puck in his own end before moving it over to Sean Caddo. Caddo up ahead to Cook. Cook dangling it on his backhand, working in through the neutral zone. Drops it back to Rugg, who puts it into Drexel ice. Drexel cleared it for just a moment before Rugg dropped to his knees and used his body as a shield to get that puck from going into his defensive end. Drexel on the attack now. Puck loose, put wide of Angelino. Right off the stick of Evan Mudrick. Big collision in the near corner. Shaken up just for a moment there was Jacob Von Tersch. Puck out to the neutral zone. Syracuse looking for a prime chance here. Gaffney works it in, tried to move it over to his right, and he does! Jack Alicia scores! Gaffney tried to feed it over to his right. Nasarino blocked it, went right back onto the stick of Gaffney, who then sent it over to Alicia. Lights the lamp to tie up Syracuse once again, 3-3. Jack Alicia continuing to show why he leads this team in goals. He's got now 15 on the season, and again, that accounts for even his time that he spent off the ice dealing with various injuries as the season has come along, still scoring the puck enough to get a lead here. Here's last season's goal-scoring leader, Sam Hutchinson, who walks in. Somehow got a wide-open patch of ice in front of him. He rips that one right into the mitt of Ryan Nasarino. So Syracuse gets momentum to start the period. They tie us up at 2-2. Then the Drexel Dragons take it right back, and now Syracuse has evened things for the second time in this frame. It's a 3-3 hockey game with 16:07 to go in the second period. Syracuse with the puck and they're attacking it. Out to the point, Von Tersch, who moves it deep below the goal line. Picked up for the Dragons by Adam Lazine. Lazine feeds it over to his left side, trying to move it out to the point to Jimmy Jacobs. Syracuse still fighting for it. The puck leaves the zone, but Alvers right there to re-enter on the attack. Alvers turns in a shot. It goes off the shin of a Dragons defender onto the stick of Ryan Thomas, who tries to find his second goal of the night, but is blocked by the traffic in front. Rebound goes all the way down to the other side of the ice. Ryan Sambuco turns one in with not a lot of power and a poor angle. It goes off of John Angelino. Rebound once again, a lot of power behind it, goes all the way out to the blue line, where it's taken over by Sam Hutchinson. Hutchinson turns one into Nasarino. Nasarino makes the save. Hutchinson gets the rebound back and then sends it deeper into the zone before heading over to make a change. 15-10 to go in the second period. Tie game 3-3 between Syracuse and Drexel. Right down to the other side of the ice. Harris tries to sneak one past Angelino, but he can't beat the post hug, and Angelino makes the save. 15:05 to play in the second period of a 3-3 hockey game between Syracuse and Drexel. Matt Harris putting in that last shot for Drexel. He ended a three-game point drought with 2 goals and an assist last Saturday at Robert Morris, riding that hot streak with a few good-looking opportunities here tonight. 4 seconds off the clock after that face-off and shot. Still from the same spot, the right wing side of Syracuse's end. And the Orange are going to get called for a trip here. Duffy was fighting for the puck, and they're going to say he tripped up Benjamin Burkhand. So he'll head over to the box for 2 minutes. Syracuse came into this game on the power play, killing about 75%. That's tied for 4th with, guess who? The penalty killing unit for Drexel, also at 75%. For the Dragons on the power play, they're a dangerous team, tied for 1st in the ESCHL, 31.5% with the extra skater. Puck is down, penalty clock is ticking, and so is the game clock. 15 minutes to go in the second period. 1:50 to go on the power play clock, as that shot was turned in with power from Ryan Sambuco. Angelino able to make the save. Right off the faceoff, moved out to the point, put low to Sambuco, who fires in a low angle shot. We've seen that movie a few times. It worked for Drexel earlier in this game as they scored on the power play. That gave them the initial lead in the first period, but that one so far robbed on this chance and every other one since. We've had 2, including this one. Jimmy Jacobs across the red line with 1:30 to go on the penalty clock and 14.5 to go in the second period. Drexel below the goal line, out towards the slot. Jacobs turns one in, can't beat the traffic in front. Rebound goes back out to Sambuco at the point. Moves it over to his left side, Benjamin Burkhand. 1:15 to go on the penalty. Rebound picked up by Drexel. 2 shots in from close from Pietro Baccarin. He had that power play goal earlier in this game. Syracuse still playing great defense, trying to kill off this penalty as they have 2 of the 3 they've faced so far. Under 14 minutes to play in the period, final minute of the penalty clock. Right side wing, Pietro Baccarin works it in towards the slot. Rebound still loose, and he puts it home and scores! Pietro Baccarin lurking in the slot, finds the rebound right on his blade and flicks it past Angelino to get the lead back to the Dragons. It's 4-3 Drexel. Seven goals already, and we're not even halfway through the second period. 2 power play goals for the Dragons, and get this, both of them gave Drexel the lead at their respective times in this contest. Carter Rugg gets the face-off from Syracuse, sends it down the ice to Jack Alicia. Alicia, the most recent goal scorer for Syracuse, tries to move it across the ice to Carter Rugg. Bodies in front of Drexel break it up for him. 13:20 to play, period number 2. Alvers now at the point for Syracuse, sends it over to Carter Rugg. Left flipper pad save made by Nasarino, but the rebound to the Orange. They'll keep it alive with Sam Hutchinson. Hutchinson moves it back behind the net to Alicia. Out to the point, Cato. Right side, down towards Alicia. Alicia fires one in with power. But again, off the gold jerseys in front. Drexel crowding the crease, giving Syracuse no room to sneak a puck through and challenge their netminder Nasarino. Hutchinson fighting to keep that attack alive. He does. Sends it over to his right point. Sean Cato, who then finds Rugg. Rugg takes it into the corner. The puck flips up into the netting, and we'll get a stoppage of play with 12:43 to go in the second period. And the score, Drexel 4, Syracuse 3, here from the class of 1923 arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And the city of brotherly love has not disappointed. 7 goals through the first almost, not even 30 minutes of this contest. Cannot wait to see how this period ends and how the game goes. Very heated game between two teams fighting for opportunities in the ESCHL playoff. Drexel in their own end, trying to clear with 12.5 minutes to go in the period. Jack Wren steals it away for Syracuse, trying to get them back on the attack. They had a few good opportunities, but weren't able to bury any of them home in that recent stretch. Von Tersch dumps it from the point down below the goal line. Now Serino comes out of his net to play it. Not the smartest opportunity, as Syracuse was lurking right around the crease, but it pays off for him as the Orange weren't able to control the Drexel Dragons' defense just enough. Drexel back with the puck on the stick of Adam Lazine. Lazine gains the blue line, sends it over to his left side, Jacobs. Jacobs tried to feed it into the slot. Instead, he had his pocket picked by Vasilevsky. Vasilevsky working it in the right side, turns one in. Now Serino makes the save with his chest. Puffs out his biggest pad on his body and makes the block, sending the puck towards the Drexel bench, where it will then be frozen. Goes out of play, they'll say, with 11:38 to go in the second period. Chesner to face off against Eric Eisler. Puck goes all the way down to the Syracuse end after the Dragons tried to clear. Rebound picked up by Chesner, moved ahead to Pendergrass. Pendergrass dumps it in from the point. Gargurovich picks it up in the corner, tried to send it out back towards the top of the zone. Instead, he goes too long and has his feet stolen away by Pietro Bakarin. Bakarin lost that handle. Gargurovich takes over for Syracuse. Larkin tried to feed it back to Gargurovich in the slot. He wasn't able to find his man. Chesner chasing the puck down to his own end, gains it before the red line, so no icing there for the Orange. And a mishandle as he puts it right onto the stick of Bakarin. Bakarin moves it down towards the bend, where it's taken by Eli Pendergrass. Pendergrass over to Larkin. Syracuse feeding the puck around their defensive zone, rather, with 10.5 minutes to go in the second period. Now Serino plays it behind his net before moving it onto the friendly stick of one of his Dragons teammates. It looks to be number 24, Brady Doyle. Doyle sends a stretch pass down the ice towards Barrett Genovese, who fires one in. Angelino makes the save. 10:20 to play in the second period. Syracuse trailing Drexel by 1. The score 4-3. The Orange had 2 great opportunities, sustained attacking pressure just moments ago before the Dragons got on their most recent tear. Matt Harris centers in front to Jacobs. Oh, what a sliding save by John Angelino. The 2 most threatening goal scorers for the Dragons both got their sticks on the puck, and both of them were denied by Big 33. That gave the Orange some momentum. We'll see what they're able to do with it. Hutchinson, or rather Cato, fires it deep into the attacking zone with under 10 minutes to play in the second period. And the score 4-3, Dragons over Orange. Drexel trying to clear, they'll put it too long. Jacobs was in the vicinity, but it goes past him into Syracuse ice, where Rugg will clear it out himself. Puck down towards the Drexel end, didn't have enough to get the red line. The Dragons thought that they were going to get an icing call there, but as the puck lost momentum, they realized they had to come out and play it. Now Emery takes over for Syracuse. 2-on-1 for the Orange. Emery trying to handle. Oh, he mishandled it. He lost the handle as he was trying to move it over to Gaffney. Gaffney would have been right there to tie us back up, but Emery couldn't get the feed. Harris into the corner. down on Syracuse's end on the right side. Harris feeds it back out to the point. Looking for somewhere to go with it at the point is Adam Lazine. Lazine nowhere to go, but feeding it deeper towards Harris. Harris now tied up with Von Tersch. Von Tersch loses his stick in the scrum before the puck goes back out towards the top of the point to Lazine. Lazine was handling it in the slot, and then Syracuse took over. Under 9 minutes to play in the second period. Sam Hutchinson gains the blue line into Drexel ice. Before he lost it, he had 2 gold jerseys in front of him as he was trying to bobble a high feed to get it onto his stick and try to make something out of it. Syracuse out of their own end. Brock Alvers to his right side to Alicia. Had that feed stolen away. Anton Kozitsky working in towards Angelino. Angelino makes a blocker save. Rebound goes to the Orange. And a quick chance on the attacking side. Chesner over to his right. Alvers turns one in, denied by Nocerino. Drexel looking to answer. Kozitsky had it in the neutral zone before it's taken away by Alvers. Alvers walking in, trying to move it over to his right side for a centering feed, but he couldn't get through the traffic. Alicia was right there, but the Drexel defense, too much. Changes made for both teams with 7:38 to play in the second period. Drexel leading Syracuse 4-3 in Philadelphia. The Dragons working into Syracuse ice. Nathan Steele just touches that puck before sending it into the Orange end. Syracuse able to recover defensively. Now trying to go on the attack. Chesner fishing it out of that corner. He's got Alvers near him, but also 2 gold sweaters who are trying to poke it free for Drexel, who looks to add on to their lead. Wren will take the puck out of the blue line for Syracuse. Moves it down towards Drexel's side of the ice, where Duffy is handling, crowded by 4 gold sweaters before teammates come in off the bench for the Orange. Duffy on the right side into the slot, moves it back towards Jack Wren. Wren moves it out towards the top of the circle, where it has his puck stolen away by Evan Mudrick. Mudrick lost his handle towards Wren, and now a great looking chance from Ryan Thomas. Thomas fans on his opportunity. Nocerino was posted up for the save, but Thomas just lost the handle. Rugg turns one in. A high shoulder save from Nocerino. Rebound sent right back out to Rugg. 6:33 to go in the second period as Rugg once again is robbed by the stick of Nocerino. Down the ice comes the puck after Drexel clears it. They're going to pick up icing. So the faceoff will come back down in Dragons ice with 6:12 to go in period number 2. Back and forth game here in the city of brotherly love. The Orange trailing the Dragons by a score of 4-3 here at the class of 1923 arena. Face-off won by Drexel. Immediately onto the stick of Benjamin Burkhand, who skies the puck down the full 200. And we'll do this again. Icing and a Drexel zone face-off. Syracuse has had a few good-looking opportunities on the attack lately, but they've spent more time in this period on defense than they'd care to. Went into the locker room with a 1-goal deficit, 2-1 at the time, and then a flurry of goals to start off this second period. That's where we have ourselves at a 4-3 game so far. Rebound off the face-off, put towards the point. Von Tersch turns one in. It looked more like a field goal as it sailed high over the crossbar and into the netting. Jacob Von Tersch still looking for his first goal in the ESCHL. I think he got a little bit excited on that opportunity. And speaking of an opportunity, Eli Pendergrass scores. Syracuse won the face-off. They centered it right out to Pendergrass, who winds up and puts it home. We're tied yet again. Second goal of the season for Eli Pendergrass. He hadn't had a point since November 8th at John Carroll. What a way to end the streak, tying this game up for the third time tonight. 4-all here with 5:40 to play in the second period. Syracuse trying to clear their zone, stolen away by Pietro Baccarin, and now moved onto the stick of Sam Hutchinson. Hutchinson, a full head of steam as he moves it over to his right, Alicia left it back for Connor Chesner. Chesner was robbed, and it looks like we're going to get a delayed penalty here. A hooking call against the Dragons. Power play chance for Syracuse moments after they score the game-tying goal. How about this momentum swing in favor of the visiting team, Syracuse? Penalty goes against Barrett Genovese. He'll sit 2 minutes as the Orange go on the man advantage for the third time tonight. Syracuse tying up this game moments ago for the third time tonight. It's 4-4 here in Philadelphia as the Orange trying to make an opportunity out of this 5-on-4 scenario. Down low in the zone, Cook feeds it out to Vasilevsky in the slot left side. Vasilevsky takes it all the way out to the point, moves it over to the right side before feeding it across the ice to Carter Rugg. Rugg at the left point, walks in, top of the circle, sends it over to his right side to Ryan Thomas. Thomas had the first goal of the game for Syracuse. He fires it below the goal line, where Cook took a centering feed off of Cam Gaffney. A long shot turned in from the point, Vasilevsky. Save made by Nocerino. Minute 18 to go on the penalty, 4:44 to go in the second period. A tie game between Drexel and Syracuse. Face off on the right wing side of Drexel ice. The Orange off the draw. Put it right back to Drexel, who then clears. Benjamin Burkhand picked up a loose feed after Syracuse tried to handle it and then sent it the full length of the ice, where Angelino comes out of the pipes to play it. Final minute of the power play. Syracuse looking to retake a lead that they have had for just a moment in this game. Out to the left point, Hutchinson. Hutchinson down low. Duffy now with it. Back out to Hutchinson at the left point. Walks in above the dot. Moves it down low again. This time it's Albers in the corner. Back out to Hutchinson. Hutchinson on the left circle. Centers it out to Duffy. Back out to Albers. Albers into the center for Jack Alicia, who rips one into the netting. It's the wrong kind, not the net, but the protective one near the scoreboard. And we'll get a stoppage with under 4 minutes to play in the second period and 33 seconds to go on the power play. Jack Alicia scored his 15th goal of the season earlier in this game. It's what tied things up for Syracuse, or rather, it's the goal that got them down 4-3. Pendergrass was the one who tied it up for the Orange. But Alicia still proving why he is the most reliable goal scorer on this Orange roster. Line changes made for both teams. 4-4 game between Drexel and Syracuse. 3:50 to play in the second period. 24 seconds to go on the Syracuse power play. Face off from the right wing side of Drexel ice is won by the Orange, then lost to Drexel, who skies it out of play. Drexel calling that they did not do that on purpose, but Syracuse arguing that that might have been a delay of game penalty. No whistle from the officials. We'll just redo this face-off. Chesner to tie up with Evan Mudrick. Face-off won by Syracuse. Von Terst turns one in. Off of sticks in front. It goes high and behind the goal as Drexel takes over, and they'll send it down the full length yet again. Mudrick gets the clear. Penalty will expire. We'll go back to 5-on-5. Drexel still playing great defense. It's 1-on-4. Only one Dragon down there with 4 Orange, and yet Nathan Steele making it feel like there's a full army of them. Syracuse looking very uncomfortable in their own section of the ice. Puck loose behind the Syracuse goal. Orange take over. Max Gargurovich Final 3 minutes to go in the second period. Gargurovich dumps it across the blue line before changes are made for Syracuse. Puck loose in the corner. Centering feed almost went in. Is it a goal? Still waiting on word from the officials. Nasarina is sitting on it. Syracuse celebrating a goal. Official word, we still don't have it. Larkin celebrating like he poked it free. And this really is a coin toss. Syracuse tried to center it. From a low angle position, Gargurovich ends up hitting the back of the skate of Nasarino, and Nasarino backs it in. Syracuse takes their first lead of the game 5-4 off a weird one. They don't ask how, they ask how many. How many does Syracuse have? One more than Drexel. It'll be interesting when we take a look at the box score after getting back to the hotel tonight, who they give that to. Realistically, it could have been Gargurovich, it could have been Larkin, it could be any number of Syracuse players who were on the ice at that time and in front of the crease. So Syracuse with their first lead of the game, Drexel threatening with a great chance down in front between the circles. As the Orange try to clear the zone, they finally do. Things getting physical in front of the Drexel bench as both teams fight for this loose puck. Elbows being thrown, no whistle. Loose puck goes into the Syracuse end. Vasilevsky touches it with his stick for just a moment before it's taken away by Ryan Sambuco. And now finally we'll get a penalty for this. A lot of pushing and shoving, mostly from Drexel, but Syracuse giving it back in kind. And it looks like we might get offsetting here. Jake Brown skating towards the penalty box. As is William Mikolas. But as of right now, with the way that these boxes are set up, you can't tell if he's just headed over for a change. So they will give this penalty only to Jake Brown, and right off of it, a score from Drexel. Face-off one, trying to put it down below the goal line, but instead it takes a lucky bounce and goes through. Matt Harris scores to tie things up for Drexel. What an odd game this has been. Seven goals in this second period, and we've still got 2 minutes left in it. Face-off won by Drexel. Syracuse with the puck in the neutral zone, and now Drexel gets it back and skies it down the ice. Adam Lazine putting it into the Syracuse end. Here's a breakout chance for the Orange. Racing down for it. Alicia had it for just a moment before Drexel is able to push it towards the top of their zone. Albers there defensively for Syracuse. He's unable to keep the puck from going out to the neutral zone. Alicia puts it in before taking a hit into the glass. Final minute and a half of this second period, a wild second period at that. We went into the first intermission with a 2-1 Drexel score, and now all of a sudden we're tied at fives. Hutchinson off the face-off, turns it over to the right side. Alicia scores! Hutchinson picked up the loose puck, went across the blue line, and then selflessly fed it over to Jack Alicia, who gets Syracuse back in front 6-5. The second goal of the night for Jack Alicia. He's now got 16 on the year. And how about that from the alternate captain? Played just 5 games over November and December with injury, and now has burst back into action with 2 goals against the Dragons here at Drexel. Final minute of the second period. Now Serino comes out of his net to play this one onto the stick of his teammate Michael Urbani. Urbani moves it up the near half wall onto the stick of Evan Mudrick. Mudrick walking into the right side, turns one in from the slot towards Angelino. Angelino made the save. Drexel got it back at the point, then centered it towards Mudrick. Mudrick again robbed by Angelino. Angelino making another blocker save off of that shot from distance from Michael Urbani, who had it at the right point after the rebound was sent his way. Gaffney takes control for the Orange with half a minute to go in the period. Wide open, Cade Cook down the ice, into the slot, centers it over to his right side, and off target on that shot was Aiden Emery. Syracuse has had back-to-back grade A chances on the breakaway. It converted the first one, but came up short on that second one. Final 10 seconds to go in the second period. And the Orange, as the period expires, will head to the dressing room with a 6-5 lead over Drexel. Back and forth through those 20 minutes. It's got the Orange in front by 1 over the Drexel Dragons, but the way this game has been, no lead is safe. One more period left to play in regulation here from the class of 1923 Arena in Philadelphia. We'll be back in just a moment on the Syracuse Hockey Radio Network.
Hamdi. Hamdi. Hamdi.
Syracuse leads Drexel 6-5 as we begin the third period here at the class of 1923 arena on the campus of UPenn here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. After a second period that calling it wild would be an understatement. 8 goals over 20 minutes as Syracuse ahead by 1 to these Drexel Dragons, and what this third period has in store is anyone's guess. Jimmy Jacobs trying to even it up off a good chance in front from the left circle. He fires it wide of John Angelino in the net for Syracuse. 6-5 contest as Syracuse takes control in the neutral zone. Connor Chesner fighting for it, had it stolen away for just a moment by William Nicholas, who then fires it down towards Syracuse's defensive ice. Up the near glass, Hutchinson moves it out of the zone. Alvers skates down the ice, trying to avoid the icing. He does. Sends it back down the other direction, where it's taken over by Matt Harris. Harris leaves it back for Jacobs, blocked out by Angelino. Clearing it down the ice, Angelino sends it long for Vasilevsky, who was racing down against Nocerino with it. Nocerino ended up coming out of his net to take it, as Vasilevsky would have put it from an open net had he not recovered in time. Here comes Anton Kozitzki. Kozitzki fires a long shot. Save made by Angelino. 18:40 to play in the third period. Syracuse leading Drexel by a score of 6-5. Jacob Von Tersch picks it up behind his netminder. Fires it over to his left side, Ryan Thomas. It caught a piece of the goal as it went behind Angelino, so it lost power. Drexel capitalized on it for just a moment before Syracuse recovered. Now Duffy with a prime opportunity. Sliding glove save by Nocerino. Duffy almost caught Nocerino sleeping, but he woke up just in time to get the save. $18-17 to play in the third period. Syracuse ahead by 1. It's 6-5. Cato takes over off the faceoff win by Drexel in the neutral zone. The Dragons capitalize again. A long shot turned in from a low angle towards Angelino. It goes across his body and up into the netting to stop play with 18:05 to go in period number 3. Syracuse went into the first intermission down 2-1, and then after that second period went back to the locker room 6-5 ahead, down by 1 at the first intermission, up by 1 at the second. This has been a back and forth game, and oh, by the way, it's the next morning. Happy Saturday, everybody. It's 12:18 a.m. on the East Coast. This game, puck drop was at 10:40. We're still hanging around in what's been a competitive affair so far. Drexel wins the faceoff. Larkin stole it away after a great-looking chance in front by the Dragons, but nothing came of it. Up the ice to Gargurovich. Gargurovich in the slot, had his pocket picked by Emil Lindvall. Or check that, it's Benjamin Burkhan. Burkhan freed up the puck for a moment. Syracuse back on it. Gargurovich lost it in front of Nocerino. Now poking free at that loose puck. He centers it out to Gaffney. Gaffney put in a backhander that got knocked off a stick in front. Lost power on its way to Nocerino. Gaffney still chasing. Goes into the far corner. Tried to leave it over towards Gargurovich. Back to Gaffney. Gaffney takes it into the other side corner now on the right. Leaves it for Emery. Emery tied up. Takes it back on the other side of the ice behind the goal, where Drexel takes over. Pass down the ice to Jimmy Jacobs. Jacobs up the right side, or check that. It's Anthony Tuozo up the right side. Had his puck stolen off his stick. Cade Cook, pass too long for him. It'll sail down below the red line on the left side with 16:40 to play in the third period, and Syracuse enjoying a 1-goal lead. Angelino makes the long save. After that one came in from distance off the stick of Ryan Sambuca. Cade Cook trying to clear it out of the zone, looking for Gaffney. He puts it long of him. Gaffney sends it back towards Cook after taking up the loose puck. And now fresh off a change, here comes Hutchison to the right side circle, centering towards Cade Cook. Back out to Hutchison, who takes this short angled shot that goes across the body of Nocerino rather than towards him. Hutchinson swiping at the puck, trying to free it up and keep this attack alive. It does. Moves out to the right point, Chesner. Chesner down low into the circle towards Alicia. Alicia trying to center, and we'll get a whistle to stop play with under 16 minutes to play in the third period. Syracuse ahead of Drexel by a score of 6-5. Plenty of action coming up here on the SU Hockey Network as we get you ready for the ESCHL playoffs. Regular season coming down to the wire. We'll be back right here at the Class of 1923 Arena tomorrow at 2:45 for the conclusion of this weekend series, and then back next weekend for a home-and-home against Oswego State, first at Syracuse and then at Oswego, followed by a road series at Stony Brook, and then a home series to conclude the regular season between Syracuse and the Rhode Island Rams on February 21st and 22nd. Syracuse in their own end. Jake Brown trying to control for the Orange and get it out of the zone. He does. Up to the neutral ice, Brock Alvers into Drexel territory, centers it over towards Sam Hutchinson, who flicks it towards Nocerino. He's able to make the save. 15 and a half minutes to play in the third period. Syracuse leading 6-5 over Drexel. For the Dragons, after tomorrow's weekend series finale, they'll have a home and home on the 7th and 8th at and versus NYU. And then a two-game home series on the 14th and 15th, celebrating Valentine's Day against Westchester, before hitting the road to finish up their regular season February 16th at Delaware and February 22nd at Stony Brook. Those are the only two games, aside from Syracuse, left on this schedule against ESCHL teams. So these games today and tomorrow, huge if Drexel wants to get some ESCHL conference points as they make their push towards the playoff. Puck knocked into the netting. It'll stop play with 15:06 to go in the final frame of regulation. Face-off will come in Syracuse ice on the left wing circle. Matt Harris, the Drexel captain, comes into the dot for this draw against Evan Vasilevsky. Vasilevsky wins it for the Orange, and then back towards Gargurovich, who then skies the puck down the ice. Check that, it's Ryan Thomas who does the skying. Only for a moment does Syracuse relax on defense. Matt Harris takes over for Drexel, turns it out towards the point where a long shot comes in from William Mikolas. Rebound still loose in the left corner. Fishing for it is Michael Urbani for Drexel. He moves it out across the other side of the ice towards Von Tersch. Von Tersch trying to clear it over the blue line. He does finally as he moves it over to Vasilevsky. Brendan Duffy now across the blue line and had it poked away back into the neutral zone. So Syracuse will have to regroup. They finally re-enter again, this time with Ryan Thomas up the right side. Jimmy Jacobs with a steal for Drexel before getting stolen away himself by Jack Wren. Wren up to the neutral zone. Stolen away yet again by Anton Kazitsky. Harris on the right side, works it in towards the slot, turns one in towards Angelino, that's saved with his right pad. Rebound moved from the point back down to Harris in the far corner. Harris trying to fight off 3 Orange players by himself. He finally gets the help in the form of Kozycki, who frees it up and works it behind Angelino in the net, but his pocket is picked by Gargurovich, who now races down the ice, moves it over to Larkin on his left side, takes a centering feed back from Larkin, and then skies that one off his stick into the netting behind Nocerino to once again stop us with a 6-5 game between Syracuse and Drexel. The Orange leading the Dragons with 13.5 minutes to play in regulation. Face-off coming in the left wing circle. Gaffney to tie it up with Barrett Genovese. Gaffney wins it for only a moment before Genovese jumps back on it for the Drexel Dragons. Carter Rugg picks it up for Syracuse in his defensive end, trying to move it out of the zone. He does, sending it over to his left side, Tanner Cole. Cole lost the puck for a moment in the neutral zone, dumped it into Drexel's end, and now all the way back out between the blue lines. Sean Caddo takes it across the red line with 13:06 to go in the third period. Sean Caddo has seen a lot of playing time as of late. He snapped an 11-game points drought through last Friday with an assist against Delaware. Came back in crucial time, even though Syracuse dropped both of those games at Delaware. Still played big minutes and has picked up his contributions as of late. Caddo heads over to the bench. In his stead comes out Carter Rugg. Rugg heads back over to the bench as well after firing a shot in. He'll stay on the ice as the Orange go back on the attack, and now finally comes off along with Cade Cook as that loose puck is played out of Drexel's territory. Brock Alvers got it in front and he scores! Nocerino made a save. He looked to handle it, but he put it right back onto the twig of Brock Alvers, and Syracuse adds on to their lead. Brock Alvers, fresh off his 100th game of his career that happened Friday at Delaware. He is right back a week later with a goal to put Syracuse ahead by 2. And the way this game has been going, anything that's greater than 1 goal as a lead is pretty much a dagger at this point. Rebound still loose. Nocerino watched Alvers play it towards his right again. Able to make the save that time. Syracuse with new life here, having their lead extended just moments ago by Brock Alvers. Jake Brown dumps the puck deeper into Drexel ice. Alicia had it for a moment. Nocerino made a bad choice coming out of his net to play that one over. Alicia almost was able to take advantage of it. Alicia now into the slot, fans on a second straight shot before Drexel moves it ahead with Jimmy Jacobs. Jacobs trying to move around Brown. He does, but loses the puck in the process. Trying to center it back behind him with his backhand to William Mikolas. Can't get through the traffic in front, and now it goes out to the right point. Angelino makes a long save with the heels on the blue line. That shot came in with power from Michael Urbani. 11:10 to play in the third period. Drexel right back with it. Jacobs, he scores! Drexel playing tiptoe with the blue line, kept the puck on the right side of it, and then put it down to Jimmy Jacobs, who goes high, glove side, to get Drexel back within 1. Skosh over 11 minutes to go in the third period. Drexel trailing Syracuse, but now it's just 1. Duffy, it's a steal. Nocerino plays it back out. Syracuse almost capitalizing off a face-off win. That went right where they wanted it to. Nocerino, again, almost burnt for coming out of the pipes, but he stays back and gets lucky once again. .40 to play in the third period as Drexel enters the zone. Anton Kozycki pulls up in the corner before sending it across the ice. Here comes Brendan Duffy. Duffy across the red line, with a rather yellow jersey in front of him as he gains the red line and now into Drexel territory. Duffy trying to feed that puck out of the corner. He sends it long to Thomas. Thomas who puts it deeper into the corner. And now Drexel trying to move it out of their zone. 7-6, Syracuse leads Drexel with under 10 minutes to play now in the third period. Mudrick takes over for Drexel. Mudrick walking into the right circle, looking for a centering feed. He found it in the form of Pietro Bakarin. But now Bakarin centers it out, and Drexel ties us up 7-all off the stick from Evan Mudrick. Back and forth we go, continuing into the final 10 minutes of regulation, 7-7. And now John Angelino will head to the bench. In replacement comes AJ Finta. Angelino stopping all but 7 of Drexel's 32 shots tonight. He will head to the bench for the remainder of this game. AJ Finta, the usual netminder for Syracuse, is now in for the Orange. Gatto right in front of Finta as he makes that save, clearing it away from his netminder and getting it onto the stick of his captain, Sam Hutchinson. Larkin into the corner. Check this. This is Pendergrass who's out centering this line. Gargurovich also into the corner. Out towards Jacobs. Jacobs skies it into the neutral zone where Gatto will go chasing. He's trailed loosely behind by Ryan Sambuco. Sambuco backs off once it looks like Gatto's going to handle this puck. Emery trying to chase this down and beat the icing. He did for just a moment before Adam Lazine finally got the whistle he was looking for. Turned around as Emery was coming up right behind him and seemed to brag to him a minute. Got a reaction out of Emery. But the puck will come all the way back down to the other side of the ice. A face-off coming in Syracuse territory with 9:04 to play in the third period. And the score deadlocked 7-all. AJ Finta playing in relief, his 14th game of the season. 4.21 goals against average, 8.84 save percentage. He went 6-10 in 16 games last season. He already has 6 wins this year through those 12 appearances, not including last weekend. Gatto flicks the puck out of his zone to Emery in the neutral zone before it's robbed once again by Anton Kazitsky. Kazitsky chases a loose puck in front of his own bench. Sticks flashing in the neutral zone. Cade Cook tries to enter. He finally does as Emery comes out of the zone. He would have been offsides had he not waited for Emery. Cook takes it all the way back around behind the goal line before it's moved out towards the point. Kazitsky across the red line, moves it over to his right side. Pietro Bakarin now poked away. Here comes Gargurovich. Gargurovich through the slot. Gaffney sends it over to Carter Rugg. Rugg in towards the slot to Gaffney. Gaffney fans on a shot, goes into the chest of Anton Kazitsky. Gaffney gets his rebound back, still fighting with Kazitsky forward on the right slot. Under 8 minutes to play in the third period. We're deadlocked at 7s between Drexel and Syracuse. Loose puck sails all the way down to Syracuse ice, where putting it on his backhand is Anthony Tuozo. Tuozo pinned up in the end boards. Puck still in Syracuse's end. Finta makes his first save in relief of Angelino. Drexel still on the attack. Rugg picks up the puck in his far side corner. Cade Cook now ahead off the feed. Working it in towards Nocerino. Had his stick poked at the last moment. Getting a twig on there with no time to spare was Brady Doyle to break up that go-ahead chance from Syracuse. Alicia looking for the hat trick, centers it over towards Hutchinson. Hutchinson went off a stick in front and into the netting to stop play at 7:11 to go in the third period. 12:33 Eastern. Good morning, everybody. It is officially Saturday in the latest game that Syracuse has played since last year's midnight game at Liberty. could tell that when we were loading the bus today to head down here, people were sneaking naps and piling on the caffeine, trying to stay awake for this latest of the season contest. Under 7 minutes to play in the third period, 7-7 between the Orange and the Dragons. Finta calling for an icing, he doesn't get it. Brown instead forced to play it onto the stick of Connor Chesner. Chesner over to his line mate, the captain, Sam Hutchinson. Drexel takes control for just a moment in the neutral zone before sending it back down into the direction of Hutchinson, who now has it on his own left point. Puck still loose between the blue lines. Drexel takes over again. Here's Lazine working it in towards the defensive effort of Connor Chesner. Chesner pins him up in the left corner as the clock ticks under 6:15 to play in the third period. Puck still loose in the corner. Trying to skate away with it is Ryan Sambuco. He's pressured immediately by Connor Chesner, who forces him to cough it up onto the stick of Brock Alvers. Alvers will dump and change. Fresh legs onto the ice for Syracuse. Pass too long, intended for number 28, Anton Kazitsky. Kazitsky put it into his bench, and it will stop play with under 6 minutes to play in the third period. They're going to call Kazitsky for delay of game, it looks like. Well, check that, they'll just warn him. Looked like they were going to get a delayed penalty out of this, but instead we'll still skate 5-on-5. No harm done. Thomas in his own end for Syracuse. Vasilevsky up the left side, puts a pass just too long for Brendan Duffy. Duffy sends it over to Thomas as Nasarino was late getting back between the pipes. Nasarino almost gave up an empty net goal to Ryan Thomas. It would have been his second of the game. Finta will get the icing he had his hand raised for. And we'll head back down towards Drexel ice with 5.5 minutes to go in a tied third period, 7-all between Drexel and Syracuse. Man, I'll tell you, if this is how we open this weekend series, I cannot wait to see how we'll close it tomorrow. Back and forth throughout the night, particularly in the second period, in which we saw 8 goals to put Syracuse ahead 6-5 going into the second intermission. This has been an incredible game full of rare moments, full of big-time goals, shocking performances, and more of the usual from those top performers who we're used to seeing great things from. Everything you could want out of a hockey game is tonight. 4:58 to go in the third period, 7-7, the Orange tied with the Dragons. Gaffney takes it into his attacking zone, loses it off the defense from Drexel at the blue line. It got popped back to Von Tersch, who then dumped and made a change. Gargurovich handled defensively in his own end for Syracuse before having it taken off his blade by Anthony Tuozo in the Dragons. Tuozo then loses it towards Jack Alicia. Alicia skating into the slot, trying to find some room to make a shot. He's taken down to the ice, football style, tackled between the circles. Puck loose towards Cato. Cato, delayed penalty coming as Cato tried to move it down towards Pendergrass, or rather Hutchinson. Hutchinson was tripped, and now Syracuse will go on the power play at a crucial time in this game with 4:15 left to play, and the game tied at 7s. Syracuse to skate 5-on-4 for the next 2 minutes, almost half of what we've got left in this game. And you got to imagine if they're able to capitalize here, it would put it away. But the way that this game has been playing, I don't know that any lead feels safe. Face-off coming in Dragons ice as Thomas takes over at the right point. Back to Rugg, now to Thomas again. Down low towards Gaffney. Gaffney in the right corner, works it out towards the right point. Thomas across the ice towards Vasilevsky, who turns one in off a one-timer. 1:42 to go on the penalty clock, 3:54 to go in the game clock. 7-all between the Orange and the Dragons. Rugg takes over right slot. His shot blocked by Nasarino. Rugg has to chase his rebound back to the right point. He keeps it alive. Sends it over to the left side. Ryan Thomas now back to Rugg, right side. Down low to the glass. Gaffney turns one in. Nasarino covers up to make the save. 3.5 minutes to play in the third period. 1:21 to go on the power play for the Orange. Crunch time here in this one, a crucial ESCHL battle. 3 very valuable points on the line in this one between two teams who desperately need it to keep their playoff dreams alive. 3.5 minutes to play in the third period, 1:09 to go on the power play for Syracuse. Hutchinson, backhand feed over to his right side to Brock Alvers. Alvers then down low to Alicia, back up to Alvers in the right slot. Alvers out towards the top of it all, the point to Alicia. Alvers looking for somewhere to go with it on the right circle. Feeds it over towards Hutchinson, who's looking for the wraparound, and Nocerino makes the save. Nocerino, another big power play save. He stops play with 45 seconds to go on the power play and 3 minutes left in the third period. Drexel would get some serious momentum if they're able to kill off this penalty. Meanwhile, Syracuse would all but put things away if they're able to get a goal here with the extra skater. Drexel clears the zone. Syracuse will go chasing. It burns a few seconds off the penalty clock, but not much, as Syracuse and Carter Rugg will exit their zone with 30 seconds left to go, skating 5-on-4. Cross ice feed. Cade Cook turns one in, a high blocker save made by Nocerino. Rebound picked up on the far side by the Orange. Vasilevsky had it for just a second before it moves across the ice to Ryan Thomas. Thomas picks it up in the slot, playing defense now as the Dragons look to clear it out. William Mikolas had his pocket pick. Rebound still loose. Final second of the power play, and now it's stolen away by Drexel. Down the ice after killing off the penalty, looking for a short-handed opportunity. Back to 5-on-5, and now that shot saved. Angelino, or rather now Finta, skied it into the net. Let's go over 2 minutes to play in the third period, dare I say, of regulation. We've got 7-7 hockey between Syracuse and Drexel. Never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined we'd get 14 goals so far through this game. Between bus legs and the late starting time, I thought there was no way that we would see as much offense as we have today. And we'll get a timeout from Drexel. We'll talk this over with 2:08 to play in the third period. This is incredible. We already mentioned Syracuse after this one. They'll play tomorrow against Drexel right here in the class of 1923 arena. 2:45 puck drop for that one here on the SU Hockey Network. But then after that, they'll head home to play a home-and-home against Oswego. First at the Kennedy Ice Pavilion on the 7th, and then at Oswego on the 8th. 2-game road trip after that at Stony Brook on the 15th and 16th, and then back home to close out the regular season on the 21st and the 22nd. All of those games in radio or TV form, available for free right here on the SU Hockey Network. Syracuse would love to make the playoff, give them some momentum going into the postseason. Meanwhile, the Drexel Dragons, last year's ESCHL champions, fighting for a berth in this year's playoff. They're the 4th-ranked team in the division as we sit now. Harris makes a quick shot off the face-off. Finta robs him out of the air. Two seconds go off the clock. Face-off coming from the same spot. Syracuse trying to make changes. They're waved off the ice. At least until we do this face-off. Out towards Harris. Harris sends it back to Brady Doyle. Now back to Harris in the left slot. Down into the corner. Jacobs trying to center it over for Harris. It goes too long. Out to Doyle at the left point. Drexel trying to sustain an attack here. Shot from the left point. Brady Doyle goes wide of Finta. Syracuse still hasn't made changes, and Larkin gets tripped up. Waving goodbye, Matt Harris. Larkin was tripped up by Matt Harris. He turned around, was waving at him as soon as the official's hand came up, And then taking offense to that one were at least 2 Drexel players who come in retaliation. And you gotta wonder, did Syracuse just squander this power play? You get an opportunity, and it looks like Larkin will head to the box. Syracuse was in prime position to finish the rest of this game on a power play. Instead, it'll go, both teams send a player to the box after just a move that ruins the opportunity for Syracuse to end this game with an extra skater and potentially put away Drexel. Sam Hutchinson, the Syracuse captain, pleading his case towards the far side official. Alicia doing the same to the other one. Barrett Genovese also over with Hutchinson, arguing his case for his Drexel Dragons players, as is Benjamin Burkhan to the 2 linesmen. Now one of the linesmen still talking to Burkhan, the other one heads over towards Hutchinson and the official to say, hey, we got to move things along, guys. It's almost 1 a.m. as it is. So we're going to skate 4-on-4. Syracuse throws away a 5-on-4 power play after Larkin showboats after being tripped. So Harris will sit for 2 minutes for the trip, and Larkin will sit 2 minutes as well. We'll finish this game 4-on-4. Minute 37 to go. You're in the 3rd period. You got to imagine next goal wins it. Both teams have been back and forth all game. Both teams have shared leads. This has truly been one heck of a start to this weekend series in Philly. Face-off won by Syracuse. The puck goes back to Jake Brown. Now over to Connor Chesner. Syracuse not in any rush as they're skating 4-on-4. And any goal could be the last. Chesner dangling into the zone. Moves it back out to Hutchinson at the point. Sends in a long one with his heels on the blue line towards Nocerino. And a delayed penalty coming against Syracuse in the far corner. Chesner is going to get called for tripping, or rather a hold. So Syracuse is going to go down 4-on-3 after they could have been up 5-4. What an ending to this game potentially. Drexel now with 4 on the ice compared to Syracuse's 3, and a minute 11 to play with in a tied game 7-on-7. Out to the point. Drexel with Benjamin Burkhan walking in towards the right circle. Save made by Finta. Back out to Burkhan. Burkhan in the same spot. The right slot now retreats to the point. Burkhan over to his right. Ryan Sambuco feeds back to Burkhan. Now back to Sambuco. Sambuco heads over to the left side. Now into the face-off circle. Sends one towards Finta. Makes the save, but Burkhan picks up the rebound. Final 35 seconds of the period. A save made in front. Coming right down Main Street was Ryan Sambuco. Can't beat Finta. Final 30 seconds. Finta, blocker save. Syracuse trying to clear the zone. They finally do. Taking a tumble in front of his own bench was Jimmy Jacobs. Hutchinson will clear the puck down the ice for Syracuse, and he'll head over to get fresh legs on the ice for the Orange. Final 10 seconds of regulation. Here comes Benjamin Burkhan. Burkhan into the slot, uncontested. Finta makes a loose save after finally Syracuse reacted to him. Carter Rugg got in there to break up the chance for Benjamin Burkhan, and now we'll stop the clock with under 4 seconds to go in regulation. A tie game 7-on-7. Syracuse trying to make substitutions. The officials waving Jake Brown back to the bench. Timmons is calling for a timeout, and he'll get it. So Syracuse will take a minute to talk this over. final 4 seconds of regulation, we're tied 7-all here at the class of 1923 arena. This has been one heck of a game. Again, I'll continue to talk about it all weekend long, everybody. 2-1 going into the intermission. An 8-goal second period featuring 2 from Jack Alicia, who missed a lot of December and November, played only 5 games through those 2 months combined. He came up big. Pendergrass scored his second of the season. Ryan Thomas had that first goal that got the momentum to Syracuse to where they could even come out of the second period and score that opening goal to then tied it. But you could say a game-tying goal, and it could apply to at least 8, realistically, of the 14 that we've had so far in this one. This has been wild. There's really no other way to put it. This has been wild. Never in my wildest dreams did I think we'd be this close to 1 a.m. and still playing. But here we are. Cannot wait to see how this ends. Face-off expires, and we will get overtime hockey here in Philly. 3 periods, not enough to decide a victor. We will head to the overtime frame with your scores, 7-all. Overtime hockey coming up next on the SU Hockey Network. Welcome to overtime here on the SU Hockey Network from the class of 1923 arena in Philly. 7-all after 3 periods. Syracuse and Drexel need at least 5 more minutes to determine a winner in this one. Drexel will start off with the puck after winning that faceoff. A drop pass to William Mikolas on the left side. Drexel scored to take away a 2-goal lead that Syracuse had late in the 3rd period. They are enjoying it, playing on borrowed time here as they finally clear the puck out. Syracuse does. They send it all the way down. And now these penalties, which happened at the end of the 3rd period, will come back out. Larkin is out of the box for the Orange. Still waiting there is Chesner. Benjamin Burkhead enters the zone for Drexel, flicks one towards Angelino, now chases his rebound into the corner. 4:10 to play in the overtime period. Syracuse trying to clear. They finally send it down to Chesner, who's fresh out of the box. And an icing called against Syracuse. We'll head back down to orange ice. Back to 5-on-5. All 3 of those penalties killed off. So we are skating even strength 5-on-5 through this overtime period. Syracuse, once again, looks like they're being denied a substitution. Some confusion on the orange end of things as to who will come out. And it looks like we'll finally go 3-on-3 here. A little bit of confusion as 2 players were coming out of the box, and you don't usually see that happening in an overtime period. It caused some confusion, but now we're back to 3-on-3. Alicia, Brown, and Chesner in for Syracuse. Brown takes a ripper in from the right side, and the rebound goes all the way around the end boards to Ryan Sambuco. Sambuco walking in, a dive block made by Chesner, a save made by Angelino. The rebound kicked out towards Levine, and the net comes out. Finta skating away with it, taking words from Jimmy Jacobs. who's frustrated. He thinks the Syracuse netminder knocked it off on purpose to disrupt several Drexel chances. The net finally put back on its bearings. Finta goes back between the pipes. Drexel makes a change. 3 fresh skaters out on the ice for the Dragons. It's Matt Harris, Barrett Genovese, and Benjamin Burkham. Face-off won by the Dragons. Harris sends one in towards Angelino. Not much power on that. It's a routine glove save for Finta. Angelino started this game. He gave up all 7 of the goals on the board right now for Drexel before he was replaced late in the third period by AJ Finta. Barrett Genovese loses the face-off towards Jack Wren. Pucks then sails out of play into the stands. That'll freeze us with 3:32 left to go in the overtime period. 7-7. Next goal wins. A wild shootout in the class of 1923 arena. Can't wait to see what tomorrow has in store for us, but for now, here comes Jack Wren across the blue line. Stolen away by Drexel. Not able to get any room to operate in his attacking zone. Burkham clears the frame. And now Vasilevsky over to Ryan Thomas. Back to Vasilevsky in his own end with 3:10 to play in overtime. Vasilevsky into the right point. Finally joined by his 2 teammates who come in across the blue line late. Jack Wren looking for somewhere to go on the right circle. He feeds it over to left side to Vasilevsky. Stolen away. Here comes Matt Harris. Dangerous goal scorer for Drexel. Looking to end this one. He turns it high of Finta. Finta didn't even have to make a save. Harris's shot was high. And now a 2-on-1 for Syracuse. Into the left point. Here comes Ryan Thomas. Turns one in. Just save made by Nasarino. And Nasarino finally clears. And he'll get the cover with 2:37 to go in the overtime period. He was quick. He covered it up. Didn't hear a whistle, so tried to flick it out, and then the whistle came late. They'll say he got enough of it to cover up. Gaffney wins the faceoff for Syracuse. Moves it over to Rugg. Rugg down low for Gaffney. Had him, but couldn't put it on his stick. Duffy now tied up on the right circle. Out towards Rugg at the point. Rugg between the dots, moves over to the left point. Now sends it over to his right side, Gaffney. Gaffney has to skate away with it. He's pressured hard by Pietro Baccarin. Gaffney re-enters the zone on the right side. Through the slot. Nasarino makes one save. And back between the posts. Duffy's trying to get the wraparound goal. He couldn't quite squeak it past the pad. Carter Rugg circling around at the point. Moves in towards the right side face-off dot. Carter Rugg looking for the wraparound. Didn't quite get it. And now fisticuffs in front of the crease. Even Nasarino's getting in on this. He lost his mask as he put Gaffney in a headlock. Officials sorting this out, sending players to their respective benches as we again watch tensions boil over in what's been a tight game. Fresh legs on the ice for both squads. For Syracuse, it's Hutchinson, Alicia, and Chesner. Chesner with it at the left point off the face-off win from Hutchinson. He has to go out towards no man's land to get some room with which to enter the zone. Drop pass to Alicia. Alicia through the slot. Alicia wide open. Save made somehow by Nasarino. Oh, he's practically in the splits as he made that glove save. Jack Alicia went in across his body, had a one-on-one with Nasarino. And that time the Drexel netminder came up victorious. Benjamin Burkham with it in his own end with 1.5 minutes to go in the overtime period. The drop pass to Jimmy Jacobs, who then gains the blue line over the red line and now into Syracuse territory. Left it back, thought Burkham was further behind him than he was. Went out to the neutral zone. Drexel will have to re-enter. They did for just a moment. Jacobs was in the zone. Sambuco didn't see him. And so he had to regroup yet again. Drexel in their own end with 1:03 to go in the overtime period. Vasilevsky intercepts it in the neutral zone, sends it down towards Nasarino, who comes out of his net to play it and then puts it right back onto the stick of his teammate Sambuco. Levine takes over for Drexel with 45 seconds to go in the overtime period. Over to Jimmy Jacobs. Jacobs retreating back to the right point, looking for somewhere to go with it around the big frame of Sam Hutchinson. He sends it into the far corner where Levine takes over at the point. Off the feed from Matt Harris, who he then centers it down too low. And now here comes Hutchinson. Hutchinson across out of his own zone, over the blue line. He left the puck behind him. And now is going to take a minute to regroup as he drops it back towards Vasilevsky. 15 seconds to go in overtime. Ryan Thomas with it in his own end. It looks like Syracuse is content to just let this expire. Thomas finally puts on the Jets. 5 seconds as Syracuse enters. Vasilevsky turns one in high. The save made by Nasarino. He'll stop the play with 2 seconds to go in overtime. And it looks like we're headed towards a shootout. Both teams in that case would get a conference point. And then the winner of the shootout would get the second one. Far side faceoff, Alicia wins it, but he's not able to get control of the puck, and we will head towards the shootout. Who would have thought coming into Philly we'd get a shootout decision here at the class of 1923 arena? Again, first game of a weekend series, and this is a great way to start it. 1 o'clock in the morning and we're ready for a shootout. If this isn't every hockey fan's dream, I don't know what is. Aside from maybe your favorite NHL team winning a Stanley Cup. So we will get a shootout here between Syracuse and Drexel. AJ Finta, who replaced Angelino late in the third period, will stay in net for Syracuse, as will Ryan Nasarino, who's given up all 7 to Syracuse and has played every minute of this game so far. The two netminders give a little fist bump with their mitts as they head to their respective goals, and we ready for this shootout. 2-1 entering the first intermission, 6-5 going into the second, and now after overtime it's 7-all as we ready for this shootout. Both teams still taking a minute to decide their lineup, who's going to come out first and in what order. Officials taking time as well to make sure that they know everything that's going on. Again, this game important in terms of the conference standings. Both of these teams in the ESCHL fighting for a spot in the postseason. First skater on the ice is going to be Sam Hutchinson for Syracuse. He'll take the puck over to his left side across the blue line. Now works in towards the center. Front hand, backhand, turns it high. Nasarino just puffed his chest. Sam Hutchinson put it high of him. First stop made for Drexel. Now they'll go on the offensive. Their first skater is David Brannigan. First time, or rather this will be Ryan Sambuco. Sambuco walking in from the left side, moves in towards the center. Angelino makes a butterfly move, and Sambuco goes 5-hole and scores. Got Finta out of place, got those legs to open up, and he poked it through. Sambuco has Drexel ahead 1-0 in this shootout frame. Here's Jack Alicia. Alicia with 2 goals already in regulation. He walks right down Main Street and skies it over to the right. Put a lot of power behind it, but didn't get the accuracy to beat Nasarino. Drexel with an opportunity to win it with a goal here. Jimmy Jacobs will be the man looking to do it for the Dragons. Jacobs taking his time. Finta says he's ready, and here comes Jacobs. Over the left point, into the left face-off circle, down to the crease, and Finta makes the save. Watch that puck come right in towards him, closed his legs at the last minute, and made the stop. Vasilevsky with a chance here to keep it alive. Drexel already scored. Syracuse came up empty on their 2 opportunities. Vasilevsky to keep us going. Walks in towards Nasserino. Robbed with the glove, and Drexel survives. The Drexel Dragons prevail over Syracuse in shootout fashion, getting an early morning victory here in this Saturday morning at Nats and the class of 1923 arena here in Philly. This one is over, but we'll get another one tomorrow at 2:45 p.m. face-off coming from right here in Philly. We'll have coverage of that one live on the SU Hockey Network. But until then, for our entire SU Hockey Network crew, I'm Caleb Spinner. This has been Syracuse Men's Hockey. We've been happy to bring it to you. We'll see you again tomorrow. But for now, that's the game. We're out of here.